Well, the elephant was started because we recognize that a group of us, including Yvonne Awor, Dr. Mshai Mwangola, Professor Wandia Njoya, Gado Mwapemba, Dr. David D, all came together as a group, and we were just sitting down. We used to sit down and have a dinner and discuss the civic space in Kenya and room for people to debate issues and to contribute to changes that are happening in our society. And we recognize that mainstream media circulation was declining rapidly. You could tell the newspapers, mainstream legacy newspapers, were not able to invest as much in journalism. So we wanted to create a platform for quality analysis and opinion. Also, the political pressure that mainstream media was facing meant that the freedom to publish, especially opinions, was shifting. And so, we needed to the elephant came in to augment that, but also as a vehicle that provided a tool or platform for civic society to articulate its position and issues vis-a-vis changes that are happening in our society. That was the initial kind of thinking that informed the starting of the elephant. We wanted a platform to provide a voice for a space for African voices. I think we've been able to achieve that. We also wanted to experiment with the idea that it is possible to create a digital space that brings back together a multiplicity of African opinions from different countries, from the diaspora, around African issues. And there are many other papers, digital publications doing that as well. So I think that, that essential Pan-Africanism remains at the heart of what the elephant does. I'd also like to think that we remained and have remained dedicated to quality journalism. Just we don't do daily reporting. We don't do news. So we do opinion and analysis and some investigations. And some of our investigations have won awards. But just to maintain a minimum level of quality so that we contribute to this wider media ecosystem that is becoming more and more important across Africa and among Africans. Well, the biggest success story is that we are still here. That's surviving is when you're a digital publication anywhere in the world is more and more difficult. We were inspired very early on by big platforms in the US like Vice. Vice has closed down. BuzzFeed has closed down. So that's a concern that we still don't have our business model to lock down. Secondly, 2022, an elephant investigation won Journalism of the Year, the first time in the history of Kenyan media that a digital publication had won that award. That was a high point. And so surviving and also being recognized by our peers through that kind of award is important. The biggest challenge, which is also an opportunity that is facing all of media, is AI. I think it's a tremendous opportunity, and how to deploy it so that it can add value to media is going to be very, very interesting, and that's an important challenge for us going on. I think another big challenge that continues for all digital publications is how do you resource them? What's your business model? What's your financing model? I've done 2 interviews in the last 2 months on that with academics who are studying that question. So it's still not an issue that is resolved at all. The entire sector has not settled on a model that works. So we're part of that searching. And so it means you're non-stop thinking, searching. It keeps you sharp, but it also means that you're not able to pause enough to reflect. Another very interesting opportunity and challenge that has come is that social media is now ubiquitous. It's everywhere, and it's the way people consume news and a lot of opinion and analysis. Younger people especially don't really have as much patience for long form kind of pieces that have been the mainstay of the high quality journalism in the print era. So it's a challenge and opportunity for media to exploit platforms like TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc. But one of the challenges that these platforms are also changing the quality and integrity of journalism, and that is it's still in play. Young storyteller is living in an exciting age where political life, to a certain extent, economic life, is being defined very much by storytellers, by the builders of narratives, those who dominate narratives. People, people's attention moves from one issue to another. No one can say, if you're selling a product, it could be a thing, it could be an idea. If you're selling it, the idea that the fact that your father bought a Mercedes doesn't mean that you'll buy it. The fact that this is the ideological idea that is popular right now doesn't mean it'll be that way in a week's time, or even, so the speed with which people and the vastness of the selection in terms of ideas and products that people have available, so long as they have the bandwidth to consume them all using this multiplicity of platforms, is massive. And for young people, that's a great opportunity. It's a challenge, and for me, what has come to my realization, I think the era when you could train to be a journalist, be employed by a media organization, and live your life in that media organization and die, and it's gone. You now have to be an actor in this space, because media journalist is competing with content creators. So you have to have a skill, a vocation, training, knowledge, solidly in another sector as well. So you'll find those people who are doctors, but also dabble in this realm of ideas and expressing them and writing and making their videos and creating content at the same time. So it's the people who have got a grounding also in another area that seem to benefit the most and are able to succeed in this era. That's what I'll tell young people. So as you jump into the journalistic pool, it's good if you understand if you're an economist, you're a political scientist, you're a doctor, you're an engineer, make that part of your foundation.